welcome to Vitality Vibe and to your live Tuesday evening sessions. So today is Tuesday the 1st of November, and the request that came through was something for the hips after climbing Slieve Gullion yesterday, something for the legs after doing the marathon on Sunday. Well done to Brendan, the lovely husband of Marguerite, a Vitality Vibe member, who done the marathon on Sunday, and he's giving me a wee wave, and he is joining us for our session tonight just to help to ease out all the kinks. And then we're also going to do something to open the chest and help us to relax in this crazy, crazy world that we're all living in at the minute. So we are going to begin on the back. When you're ready, come to lie down. And if your lower back is a little bit grumpy, you don't have to stretch your legs out long, all right? You could keep the soles of the feet on the ground if that feels better for your lower back. You can also do that little trick where we throw our legs up on a couch or a chair or something like that. All right, but we're just going to spend these first few minutes just breathing and helping to down-regulate the nervous system. Like, even though obviously the marathon's an amazing achievement, but it is a stress on the body, all right? Apparently the first guy that ran a marathon, he was like running from a village to a town that was called Marathon with like a very important message. I don't know, like soldiers were on their way or something to that effect. And once he got there, legend has it that he gave his message and then he dropped to the ground and died. Due to the pressure that he put himself under to run the 26.1 miles. So, like I said, amazing achievement, but it is a huge stress on the body. All right, so tonight's going to be slightly restorative to help Brendan's little body kind of down-regulate from that stress on Sunday. And also what comes with achieving something so mammoth like a marathon is like we get so excited, we're on high dough, and there's a lot of adrenaline and there's a lot of chemicals being released in the body as well. They make us feel great. Sometimes then when they disappear, we'll go into a bit of a depression, a bit of a slump. All right, so this will be good as well just to help ease you down from the high of achieving something so great. Like mentally, this will help to kind of just bring you back down without kind of crashing. I found after my wedding this year, sweet baby Jesus, I was so depressed. About a week after the wedding, I just hit this massive wall. And I was like, what is wrong with me? I've just, had like an amazing experience, just got married. Why am I so depressed? And it was just that I was on such high dough and so excited about the wedding. And then it was like, what goes up must come down. And I just was like, boom, hit a wall. And it took me a good 2 weeks, I'd say, to get out of that slump. So, long-winded introduction to our session this evening. You know me, once I get started yapping. So let's start down-regulating that nervous system with abdominal breathing. All right, so if you're new to abdominal breathing, place both hands onto your lower abdomen, just below your belly button. If you're quite used to it, you can just take the arms away from the body and turn the palms to face up. What we're going to do is we're going to inhale through the nose, and we're going to invite those hands on the lower tummy to rise up towards the ceiling. And then we'll exhale through the nose and let the tummy soften all the way back down. And then gently at the end of that exhale, squeeze your belly button back towards the spine. So as we inhale, we're inhaling through the nose. We're inviting those hands to rise up towards the ceiling. Slight pause at the top of that inhale, and then a slow, controlled exhale. And just drawing the belly button back towards the spine at the end of the exhale. Okay, keep going. I'm going to yibber yabber here. And what I want you to do is find a rhythm that suits you. All right, so you might be breathing in for a count of 3, a count of 4, a count of 5. One is not any better than the other, but I just want you to find a rhythm that suits you. And then with your exhale, add a count or two to your exhale. So for example, if you're breathing in for a count of 3, I want you to try to breathe out for a count of 5. All right, so we're just slowing down the exhale. Adding a couple of breaths to that exhale. If you're new to abdominal breathing, I want you to stick with what you're doing right now, okay? That lower belly rising and falling. And it's not a massive, expansion, a massive rise of the tummy. It's just this nice gentle rise and fall. If you're a little bit more experienced, you can continue that breath and make it a 3-part breath. As in, when we inhale, that lower tummy will fill. And then we keep going and we fill the rib cage, those intercostal muscles. And we keep going and we fill that upper chest, shoulder, collarbone area. And then on the exhale, the collarbones soften, the rib cage softens, and that lower tummy softens. All right, so if you're brand new to yoga breathing, that can be a little bit confusing. So just stick with the belly. If you're with me a while or you've been doing yoga for a while, you can take that 3-part breath. If you can hear a little bit of dog barking in the background, my apologies. So I'm fostering a dog at the minute. And once he barks, then he sets Chunk off. And then there's this symphony of the two of them. And because it's Halloween and there's fireworks going off, they're both very unsettled at the minute. So actually, last night, the two of them were literally on top of me. And the foster dog is the same size as Chunk. So I was just all you could see was my head. And then there was just this mass of fur lying on top of me. So we'll just let whatever sounds happen to be in our immediate environment to come and to go. So it's the same, when we're doing these classes from home, you might be able to hear the kids downstairs killing one another, or someone's shouting up the stairs, "Ma'am, where is this?" or "Where is that?" And there's always going to be that element of kind of distraction when we're practicing at home. So rather than kind of be annoyed and be like, "Oh, for feck's sake, I just want this 1 hour," this 1 hour where nobody's looking for my attention, just let the distraction come, let it go. And for me, instead of being like, "Oh my God, I wish those dogs would stop barking," I'm recording this, blah, 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 nothing I can do about it. I'm just going to let those sounds come and go throughout the practice this evening. So just keep going with the breath. Just about 1 more minute here. And then just allow the sounds inside and outside your environment to just be there without wishing for something different. And there's this element of surrendering on the exhale, letting go of your day thus far. What if we could just let go of all of the things that are annoying us for this next hour? And just give yourself this gift of your yoga practice without allowing the thoughts to, pull you away and distract you. So just spending this time for you. And then you can make your next inhale the deepest one you've taken so far today. And then sigh it out. slowly begin to make some little movements. That was a combination of little and make. Lick some little movements in your body. So wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe stretch the legs out if you had the soles of the feet on the ground. Maybe stretch the arms overhead. Maybe let little yawn escape your body. And just move in a way that feels nice for you. You might need to hug your knees into your chest if your back's a little bit grumpy. Kind of rock out from side to side. So just let this be your own little element of the practice here, where you just do what feels good for you. And we're going to stay on the back for the first few poses. All right. So hips are going to be very tight if we've just run a marathon. So we're going to start with them and then progress from there. So my lovelies, go ahead and bend your knees, plant the soles of the feet close to your bum and about hip distance apart. When I do this, I feel like I kind of, I roll back on my head and I kind of compress the cervical spine, so the neck. So if you feel like that, just pick up your head, tuck your chin to your chest, keep the chin tucked in and then drop the head back down so that that cervical spine can feel like it's in nice alignment with the rest of the spine. All right, and then we're going to pick up the right ankle and just sit it below your left knee on the top of your thigh and let your right knee fall away from your body. So your right toes are going to flex towards your knee. So what I mean by that is you're just pulling your right toes back towards your right knee. Notice how this feels for you in your body. This might be enough for your hip and your glute. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you're going to pick up your head, pick up the left foot, thread your right arm between the legs, left arm comes around the outside. We can interlock the fingers and then release the head and shoulders back down. Sometimes when we pop the head and shoulders back down, again, we'll feel like we've got like a compression going on in the neck. So you might be feeling like you're resting more towards the top of the head like this. All right, so some people, they kind of come into this position more so than on the back of the head. So if that's you, grab a wee block, grab a wee cushion and just prop your head up. All right, so that your neck can keep that nice alignment with the rest of the spine. Alrighty, so what we're going to try to do here is take the left knee in towards the body and send the right knee away from the body. And then with your left lower leg, you're going to straighten that as much as you can. You might still need to keep a bend in the knee here, depending on the hamstring. But we're just going to start to gently release out the left hamstring, the right hip, the right glute. And just breathe all the way into your belly. And on your exhale, try to soften the shoulders back down towards the mat. And you can decide here with your left foot to keep it nice and relaxed, or to push the heel up towards the ceiling and draw the toes back down towards the face. That's going to be a lot juicier, all right? It's going to really get into the belly of that hamstring. So you just find what feels good. If you've just run a marathon, I would suggest that you keep that foot nice and relaxed, all right? Or if you were my lovely student who was up Slieve Gullion yesterday, then again, nice and relaxed. We don't need to be torturing ourselves here. We just need to feel a sensation of stretch. All right, almost there. Last couple of breaths. So remember, the left knee's coming in towards the body. The right knee has been sent away from the body. And quite often I'll use my right elbow and I'll kind of push into that inner right thigh to keep reminding myself to send that away. All right, my lovelies, release your left foot back down onto the ground And keep your right leg just as it is in this figure of four shape. All right, so the left foot comes back to the ground. And then what we're going to do is we're going to roll over onto the left hip, and that right foot will come and hit the ground as we roll over onto that left hip. Have a little look if I've just confused you. So when we get to here with the sole of that right foot on the ground, a couple of things you can do. You can use your left palm to push against your inner right thigh, because again, in this position, we're trying to send that right knee away from the body. Or you might be able to reach down and catch a hold of your right ankle, and then kind of use that there like a leverage for you to push your right knee away from you. And then with the right arm, we're going to stretch that up alongside the right ear. So we can now start to get in to the obliques, the right side of the lower back, that outer right hip. And let's breathe. Breathe all the way down into your belly. And as we exhale, try to soften into your posture. Soften into that right hip socket. Soften the face. One more breath here as we send the right knee away from the body, stretching out through your right fingertips. And from here, we're going to come into a little spinal twist. So we're already kind of in the spinal twist as it is. We're just going to move this top leg. All right, so you're going to pick up that right foot and just place your top leg on top of your bottom leg. All right, so you're kind of stacking the knees roughly over each other, the ankles roughly over each other. We're going to stretch the left arm out shoulder height and bring the right arm back down shoulder height. Palms are facing upwards. Yeah, you've got it. That's it. All right. So again, nice wee twist here, just releasing out. If you think about when we're like climbing mountains or running marathons, there's a lot of compression on the spine from that pounding into the pavements. And so twisting the spine here is just helping to release any of the tension that would have traveled up the spine from that constant impact of the running on a hard surface. With your head, you can look straight up to the ceiling, or you can pick it up and turn it to look at your right hand and then drop it back down again. So this might feel good for your neck, or it might not. So you just decide what feels better. And as I've turned my head here to the right, I've just noticed I have a really old poker at the side of my fireplace. I don't really notice it because it's kind of tucked in the corner. But it came out of my nana's house. My nana lived in like this teeny tiny cottage down in Kilskeer in Meath. And it's just made me smile to notice it and to see it and to think that she had used that for many years to poke her fire. Mine's just like a fake gas fire, but I just have it sitting there just as a wee reminder to her. She was a woman you did not mess with, Nana Muldoon. And actually, I was listening to a podcast today, and because it's like Samhain and it's Halloween, and they believe that this is the time of year when the veil between the worlds is quite thin. So they were talking about, you know, kind of ghosts and goblins and ghouls and people that have passed on, and they were saying to stay connected to them, that we should like talk about them. And, you know, mention their name in conversation. So a wee nod to my nana this evening as I look at her poker here. And because it's Halloween and Samhain, a really strong woman, drove a wee Honda 90 right up into her 90s. Like, we actually had to take it off her. She got Alzheimer's and she'd be driving to the shop. And then she'd get there and forgot why she was there, or And the man that owned the shop used to ring us and say, your Nana's up here again and she doesn't know what she needs. And we'd have to go up and go, is it milk? Is it this? Is it that? What do you need, Nana? So, yeah, Nana Muldoon, great wee woman. All right, bring your head back to the center if it's turned to the side. Draw your belly button back towards your spine. Draw your knees back up. Alrighty. And then stretch the right leg up towards the sky. Interlock your fingers around the hamstring. So, left leg, it can stay as it is, sole of the foot on the ground. That's a little bit more supportive for your back. Or you can slide that left leg out long and either push out through the heel to begin to stretch out the calf and the Achilles, or keep the left foot relaxed. The right leg, again, if the hamstring is super tight, you're going to want to keep a little bend in your knee here so you're not asking too much of that hamstring. If it's not super tight, you could push the heel up towards the ceiling, draw the toes back down towards the face. You could interlock behind the hamstring, so in the middle of the back of your thigh, that's the belly of the hamstring. You can grab there, or if you're feeling a little bit more open, you could slide your hands up behind your knee, behind your calf muscle, behind your ankle, or you can wrap the hands around the sole of the foot. So it just depends what feels good for you. I can see Mary looking at me going, what? So yeah, you can reach right up here and interlock the fingers around. I normally go for kind of the arch of the foot or a little bit more towards the ball of the foot with the hands. But there's no prizes for licking your toes. So we're just going to place the hands wherever we can feel a sensation of stretch that works for us. All right, my lovelies, let's breathe all the way down into the belly. Use your exhale to soften your shoulders, soften your face. You might be clenching a little bit here in the hinges of the jaws if things are tight. And then we're going to move from here into a little stretch for the IT band. So your right hand can come down onto the ground for support, and your left hand is going to come to the baby toe side of your right leg. Then we're going to roll over onto your left hip as we take that right leg across the body and all the way down towards the floor. Now, it may or may not get there. Your right arm, stretch that out shoulder height and turn your palm up. So we're getting a little bit of a chest opener going on here, and we're getting a little bit of a stretch into that outer right hip, IT band. And then we'll breathe and we'll smile. So again, the head can look straight up towards the ceiling. You could look towards your right foot, or you could turn to look towards your right hand. And your leg might not look like mine. I've been doing this for a while, so I'm pretty comfortable with my ankle and my hip in a straight line. Your leg might look more like this, all right, that your ankle is a little bit lower than that hip. So again, you just find what feels good for you. And you might be more open than me, and you might have your ankle above your hip. But again, there's no prizes. We just want to feel a sensation of stretch. Now, what I want you to think about here, all right, that right hip, I want you to try to push it back into its socket, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like you're pushing the front of your thigh towards the back of your thigh, and you're trying to really push that hip back into its socket. You'll feel the stretch getting a little bit juicier when you do that. And we'll continue to breathe. And we'll continue to soften on the exhale. All right, we're going to bend that right leg so that we can slide the leg back in and roll back over onto your back. Bring that right arm back in. And let's go for a full body stretch here. Oh, stretch the legs out. You could make some weird noises like me. Stretch the arms overhead. And then we'll give the back a little bit of love here. So hug your knees into your chest for me and just gently, slowly rock from side to side, because that last stretch was quite a big twist for your spine as well. All right, so see, does side to side feel good, or do you want to do circles for your lower back instead? So we can put the hands onto the knees and do circles here if that feels better. And again, they don't have to be massive big circles, and they don't have to be very fast either. You just go to your rhythm. And then we'll pop the soles of the feet back down onto the mat, and we'll take the left ankle and sit that above the right knee and then send that left knee away for your figure of 4 on this left side. So again, we're going to flex the left toes, pull the toes back towards the knee. Notice how this feels. And this might feel like it's enough to stay here, and you could use the left palm to press against that inner left thigh. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper, you're going to pick that right foot up off the ground, pick your head up off the ground so you can thread your arms. So your left arm between the legs, the right arm comes around the outside. You can interlock your fingers and then release the head and shoulders back down. And again, this is that one where you might need a block if you feel like you're not sitting correctly on the back of your head. Again, you're taking the right knee in and sending the left knee away. And then we can slowly begin to straighten the bottom half of that right leg. Doesn't have to be poker straight. We can keep a little bend in the knee, and you can choose to have a nice, soft, relaxed foot, or you can choose to push your right heel up towards the ceiling. You're going to breathe all the way into your belly. And again, if you're really tight, you could exhale through the mouth here instead of through the nose. So just blowing out through the mouth like you're blowing out candles on a cake. Another thing you can do here is some ankle rotations if that feels good. So again, if we've been pounding the pavements, just rotating that ankle joint a few times in each direction can feel really good. You might hear a couple of clicks or pops. Nothing to be too alarmed about. Keep sending that left knee away from your body. Try not let it drift in. We're almost there. Breathe, soften your shoulders, soften your face. And then we'll return the right foot to the floor if it's not already there. All right. And then keeping that left leg just as it is, we're going to roll over onto the right hip so the sole of the left foot comes to the ground. And then we're going to stretch the left arm up alongside the left ear. Your right arm, a couple of things you can do here. You can either use the palm and push the left leg gently away from your body, or you could reach down for the ankle, hold on to it, and push the left knee away from the body. So you might be feeling this more like into your psoas muscle. You might be feeling it in that outer hip. Your IT band might be getting this a bit of the way, lower back. You might even be feeling this in those intercostal muscles. So Mary McCann, come back up again into your figure of 4. So do you remember we were here on the figure of 4? Yeah. And now you're rolling onto the right hip with that position, and the left sole. Yes, the sole of the left foot comes to the ground. Yeah. That's you now. I sound like a school teacher using your surname, Mary McCann. But there's 3 Marys in the class, so that's just, unless I give you all a nickname. All right, so again, just find your breath. Inhale into your belly. Exhale to soften. And even if we haven't run a marathon or climbed a mountain recently, the majority of people, the hips are super tight. All right, so this is good medicine for everybody. And our hips get tight for various reasons. You know, sitting, if we've got a job where we sit a lot, they can get very tight. And if we're very stressed out, trauma tends to get stored in the hips, and the body will contract the muscles of the hips and the hamstrings because it's preparing you to run away from danger. It doesn't realize that we're stressed because of a mental issue. It's kind of thinking, okay, she's stressed. It must be life-threatening. There must be a bear somewhere here chasing her down. Let's fire up the hamstrings and the hips and get her ready to run. So by continuing to breathe deep down into the belly, we're tapping into the nervous system. We're letting it know that there's no bear, that it can downregulate, it can let the muscles soften and release, that all is good in the hood. All right, my lovelies, we're going to move into our twist from here. So you're going to stay as you are and just move your top leg and place it on top of your bottom leg. Bring both arms to shoulder height, palms facing up. So we're now into a little spinal twist. Your knees don't have to be perfectly stacked one on top of the other, but you're heading in that general direction. And again, your ankles don't have to be perfectly stacked one on top of the other, but again, you're heading in that general direction. We'll breathe all the way down into the tummy. And as we exhale, we'll try our best to soften. Your face can look straight up at the ceiling, or you can turn your head to look to the left. Whatever feels good for your neck. Breathing all the way down into the tummy. And exhaling to soften. Try to surrender the whole weight of your body here. All right, if your head is turned, bring it back to center. Draw the belly button in towards the spine so you create a little bit of support for your lower back. As you roll back onto your back, bring your knees up. And then we'll go ahead and stretch the left leg all the way up. Interlock your fingers behind the hamstring. And again, your right leg, if you need the support, can stay just as it is, the sole of the foot on the ground. That'll give the back a bit of support. Otherwise, we can slide that right leg all the way out and decide whether you want to press out through your heel or keep your foot relaxed. Same goes for that left leg. Decide whether to keep that left foot relaxed or extend up through your heel, draw your toes down towards the face. And again, you can keep a bend in the knee here. You don't have to have a poker straight leg. And if you're very open, you could slide the hands further up the leg so they could rest behind the knee, behind the calf muscle, behind the ankle, or around the sole of the foot. What's important is that the shoulders stay relaxed and the face stays relaxed. And we just feel a sensation of stretch. Make that connection again with the breath all the way down into your tummy. And I forgot to do the ankle rotations on this side in the figure of 4. So if you want to do some ankle rotations here, so we can even that out, do some wee ankle rotations. All right, and then we're going to come into a deep twist. So if you've got the sole of the right foot on the ground, you're going to have to stretch that leg out for me. You're going to take your right arm to the baby toe side of your left leg, All right. You're going to take your left arm down and you're going to roll over onto your right hip as you bring that left leg all the way across the body. Mine's hitting the stove. I need to shimmy over a little bit more. And again, you're going to decide where feels good for you with that leg. All right, we're aiming over time to get it hip height, ankle in line with the hip, but that we might not be there this evening. And then with your left arm, stretch that out for me, shoulder height, palm facing up so we can open up this left side of the chest. This is quite a deep twist for your spine. So if it feels like it's too much, I want you to go back to the twist we done a minute ago. So you'd slide your bottom leg in, bend the top leg, and then stack the legs one on top of the other. All right. So this is a variation if that feels better for you. And then again, we can look at the ceiling. We can turn to look at that left palm, whatever suits your body the best. We'll breathe all the way down deep. Continue with the breath and try to bring it into those intercostal muscles, the little muscles between the ribs. And then see, can we soften the left shoulder on that exhale? Soften it into your right hip. And now again, I want you to notice the left hip and try to push the front of the thigh towards the back of the thigh and draw that left hip into its socket. If that feels like if it's too much, if it's too juicy, then leave that out. Inhale. Exhale. And then we're going to slowly return. So draw the belly button in, bend that left leg, roll back over onto your back. Take a full body stretch. Alrighty, and then we're going to hug the knees into the chest and we're going to cross the ankles here. Lift your head and shoulders up off the mat and grab the baby toe sides of your feet. So my arms are on the outside of my legs. So rather than, instead of threading them in, we're going around the outside. And you're trying to hold on to the outside, the baby toe sides of your feet. This might not be possible for everyone, all right? So if not, you can hold on to the backs of your thighs. But we're going to roll up and down a couple of times. We're going to need a bit of momentum to get us going, all right? So we're going to kick those legs up behind and then roll forwards. You come into a seated cross-legged position and you lean your body's weight forwards to get into those hips. We're going to roll it back down, kick the legs over the head, roll it back up, lean it forwards. All right, so we can maybe holding on to the backs of the legs and still come up into that crisscrossed position, or we can be holding on to the outsides of the feet. All right, but every time we come forwards, we come sitting upright, we try to lean forwards to get into the hip a little bit more. Whew. All righty. And then I want you to change the cross, all right? So right now my right leg's on the front. I'm going to change it so the left is on the front. And then keep going. Roll down again, come back up, lean forwards. So we're getting into the hips evenly on both hips. You'll be sorry you requested the hips now. You'll be afraid to make suggestions. All right, we're almost there. Last couple of things. So what we're doing here, we're massaging the muscles either side of the spine. And then we're just getting into those wee hips as well as we lean forwards. And it doesn't matter how far forwards you lean. You might come a little bit of the way, or you might have your chin coming close to the ground. Doesn't matter. We'll do one more. All right, my lovelies. And then we're going to scoot to hands and knees. All right, so when you're ready, pop it around. And we'll keep going with these legs. So hands under shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide apart, knees underneath the hips. All right, as we inhale, let's take the gaze up and the bum up as we squeeze the shoulders back. And then as we exhale, we'll tuck the tailbone under, round out the spine, tuck your chin to your chest. All right, so as we inhale, press into your palms, press into the tops of the feet, and lift up the chest, squeeze the shoulders back, send the gaze up, bum up. And as we exhale, we'll tuck that tailbone under, press into your palms, drop your chin to your chest, and arch that upper back. Now, flow to your own rhythm here. Your inhale, you're coming forwards. It's that idea of opening up the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades in towards each other. And then the exhale is rounding out, pulling your belly button up towards your spine. And you find a rhythm that suits you here. So you might want to go a little bit quicker than me. You might want to go a little bit slower than me. And you also might want to take a little bit of movement in here. So sometimes if I'm feeling really stuck and tight, I'll pull the bum back a little bit like this as I inhale, and then I'll kind of move a little bit forwards as I exhale and stretch it into the wrists a little bit. So you can find that little bit of movement if you need it. Or you can stay pretty static with the knees under the hips the whole time and the wrists under the shoulders the whole time. All right, and then from here, come back to that kind of neutral position in the middle. Stretch the right leg out, tuck your toes for me, and you're going to press into the ball of the foot. So we begin to stretch out the Achilles, the calf muscle, and I want you to, whilst you're here, draw your belly button up towards your spine. Hug the sides of the waist in. And now roll forwards onto your tippy toes. Your shoulders will come past your wrists. Roll back to the ball of the foot. Inhale, come forwards onto your tippy toes. Exhale, push back onto the ball of the foot. Couple more. Inhale, come forwards. Exhale, push back. And once more, inhale forwards. And exhale back. And then let's switch sides. All right, take that right knee back in. We'll stretch the left leg out. We'll tuck the toes. And again, we're pressing the like back of the knee up towards the ceiling. We're pressing into the ball of the foot and just allowing the toes to open. The Achilles, the calf muscle. And then we take that little bit of movement. We'll inhale, come forwards to tippy toes, and then exhale, push back into the ball of the foot. The whole time, keep going as I yabber yabber. The whole time I want you to draw your belly button up towards the spine. I want you to draw the sides of the waist inwards towards the midline. So you're keeping the lower back nice and supported. And by coming forwards, we give the muscle a chance to take a break, and then pushing back to open up as best we can. And again, coming forwards. And then pushing back. And once more, inhale forwards. And exhale back. Alrighty, and then bring that left knee back in, and we're going to sit the bum back onto the heels. So again, big run. Thighs are going to be tight. All right, your ankles might also be feeling it as well. So if you need to support your ankles here, you could grab like a towel or a cushion or your jumper or something and just slide that in underneath your ankles. So just there on that curve on the top of the ankle, slide a bit of a support in there if you need it. If the quads are super tight, then you're going to slide your support in here behind your knees. Again, a towel, a blanket, a cushion, a jumper, something to take a little bit of the pressure out of the quads. All right, so get yourself that you can sit like this for the next minute or so. All right, and we are going to do a little bit of a chest opener as we sit here and just gently allow these quads to open. Oh, another thing, if you've got a yoga block, and you find this position really challenging, you could use your yoga block here and you could, you know, pop that in underneath your bum. Now it's going to be very wibbly wobbly on this really tall high bit, but you could put it on a lower setting and you can sit on a block here, and that will again will take some of the pressure out of the quads. All right, so you can put that on any setting that you want. And again, if you have a block and it's not enough, put a cushion on top of your block. So you're bringing the ground up to meet your bum, and then it's not just so demanding for the legs that have run 26 miles. Okay, now that we're comfy, let's do the chest opener. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have the palms facing forwards and the elbows are bent, and we're going to be making like kind of little circular motions. So almost like you were kind of, you know, going to get water and splash it up on your face. So it's this kind of motion. All right, and we're just going to breathe. So let me just start. Oh, I don't have my phone. I'll guess it. We're going to do this for 1 to 2 minutes. So when I see you starting to lose the will to live, I'll know we've done 1 or 2 minutes. What was I going to say to you? Yeah, so when you're here, you can do deep abdominal breathing, or you can do that breath of fire, either or. So breath of fire is when we take the breath down through the nose quite forcefully, and then the inhale happens all by itself. It sounds and looks like this. All right, or long deep breath. So we don't use breath of fire if we're on our menstrual cycle or if we're pregnant. Otherwise, you can belt away with it. This is a Kundalini move that's designed to open the heart space. So the heart space in yoga is the center of the chest. And it's all about opening yourself up to possibilities, to releasing whatever it is we want to release. Your shoulders are going to feel it. Your shoulders are going to be like, hang on, I'm nearly done here. So keep going as best you can. And maybe think about, in this moment, in this posture, what is it that we could be open to releasing, letting go? Or the opposite, what is it that we're open to receiving? What are the possibilities that we're open to? And it can be a really nice thing to do, is just to have that thought process as we're doing this motion. I reckon about another 20 seconds, maybe 30. How are you going? Okay, we're going good, going good. So yeah, so energetically, we're opening the heart space. Physically, of course, we're opening chest and shoulders. And that's what I love about yoga. We're always working more than just a physical realm. We're also opening up emotionally, energetically. Alrighty, take a nice big inhale, stretch the arms out, palms face up, pause the breath, lift your pelvic floor. And then slowly, when you're ready, when the shoulders have had enough, we can exhale and release the breath. Okay, let's come off the ankles. So come back forwards onto hands and knees. And again, just stretch out the legs swiftly or bop them up and down. And what we're going to do here is we're going to tuck the toes and sit back again. The toes, the feet are not going to love this, all right? But it's very good for stretching out the ligaments of the feet. My baby toe tends to kind of hide itself, so I always release the baby toe. We're not going to stay here for very long, all right? 1 minute maximum. But like I said, it's very good for getting into the ligaments of your feet. Alrighty, so again, we can focus on a little bit of a chest opener whilst we're here. Okay, we're going to inhale, open the arms out nice and wide. And as we exhale, give ourselves a little hug. And whatever arm is on top, you're going to switch it the next time around. So inhale, open up, and then the opposite arm comes on top. And keep going. You're inhaling to squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up the chest. Exhale, give yourself a little bit of a hug. Just be mindful in this one that you're not overarching your lower back. Okay, so keep that in its nice neutral position. And I want you to think about here again, what are we opening to receiving? And each time you give yourself a hug, it's like, genuinely give yourself a hug. You know, we all have really tough times throughout our lives. We have challenges thrown at us. So this little hug is just a little way of you saying, hey ho, I've got you. I've got your back. Your toes are going to be screaming at you roughly around about now. We're going to go for about another 10 seconds. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and again, well done. Let's release. We'll pop the hands down, come forwards onto hands and knees. And again, whatever you need to do to release them feet, you can bop the toes up and down. You can kind of stretch out a leg, rotate an ankle, shake it out, whatever way you can kind of recover from that. All right. And then we're going to move into our downward dog. So take your hands a little bit more in front of those shoulders. Inhale. And then as we exhale, we'll tuck the toes, pick the bum up, and we'll keep the knees bent for the first few breaths. So both knees are bent. We're going to fingers spread wide. We're going to press into the palms. Try to get your sit bones nice and high here. Drop your chin to your chest and lift your belly button up towards your spine. And breathe. That little nugget at the end. Lengthening out the spine. And then we're going to keep a nice deep bend in that left leg. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, drop the right heel as close to the ground as you can get it. Whew, this is big. Big stretch for the backs of those legs. And then we'll inhale, bend both knees. Exhale, drop the left heel down as close to the ground as you can get it. Keep your belly button tucked in nice and tight. Inhale, bend both knees. Exhale, drop the weight down through that right heel. Inhale, bend both knees. Exhale, drop the weight through the left heel. Take a break in child's pose whenever you need to. Inhale, bend both knees. Exhale, sink the weight down through your right heel. Inhale, bend both knees. Exhale, sink the weight down through the left heel. You get the gist of it. Inhale, bend both knees. Exhale, sink the weight down through that right foot. Inhale, bend both knees. And exhale, sink the weight down through the left foot. Okay. Then we're going to pop all of the weight into the left foot. And we're going to stretch the right leg up to the sky. Whoa. Big, big stretch here. Try to push the front of your left thigh towards the back of the thigh. Try to draw the belly button in nice and tight. Pick up your right foot. Now look where you want to go, and you're going to step your right foot up between your hands. That might not work for everyone. Some of you guys are going to pop down onto your knees instead, and gently move your right hand out of the road and step your right foot through. And then we'll all take our hands up onto our thigh. All right, so you decide what way you want to get there. All right, so for some of you guys, you're going to be grand, stepping right on through with that leg stretched up in the air. And for others, it might feel better to just pop to the knees and gently step through. No matter which way you get there, what I'm looking for is your right knee stacked above your right ankle, and your left knee has to be behind your left hip a little bit. All right, so mine's only a little bit behind. I'm going to scoot it just a tad more behind. Now, with your left toes, they can be like mine, totally flat, or you could tuck them under to have a little bit more balance. If you've got a little bit of a grumpy knee, I have a trusty blanket here. You could throw a blanket or a cushion or something underneath that knee if it needs it. All right, so. And then from here, we're going to inhale, lift up the heart. And exhale, see, can we lunge, drop into this a little bit deeper. So Mary Dunn, watch your front knee. It's drifting in towards your big toe. Try to take it out a little towards your baby toe. Yes, like that. Yeah. Okay, now I want you to think about the space below your belly button, all right? And think about drawing that in and up. That's going to deepen the stretch in this hip flexor a little bit. And then from here, we're going to inhale and sweep the arms all the way up. Interlock the fingers, release the index. Whoo, relax your shoulders. Breathe. Easier said than done. Inhale. And exhale, soften your shoulders. Keep drawing that lower tummy in. Soften the hinges of your jaws. Try to straighten your elbows as best you can and try to have your arms back alongside your ears. If that's all too much and you're wrecked tired, pop those hands down, no problem. We don't have to be up there, all right? It just gives us a slightly deeper stretch. And then one last couple of breaths here. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, I want you to start to side stretch over to the right. So towards your bent leg, the leg that's out in front. Drop over in that direction and you'll really get into that psoas and hip flexor. And then inhale, rise back up. And as we exhale, take the hands down. Take them inside your right foot. I'm just going to move this wee blanket out of the road for a minute. All right, so again, if we have a block, we could take a block in here and put it on any height. Medium height, high height, whatever, all right? With your right foot, I want you to turn the toes out to about a 45-degree angle and take that foot a little closer to the right edge of your mat. All right, so from this direction, it might be better to show you guys. So from your lunge, you're going 45 degrees with the foot, so it's like that, and you're kind of moving that a little closer to the outside edge of your mat, and your hands are in here. So the knee is drifting outwards. We've got this external rotation of the hip going on. All right, does that make sense for you all? All right, so some of you guys are going to feel better on a block here. Some of you guys are going to feel okay up on your fingertips or on your palms. And some of you guys are going to be happy enough to drop to your forearms. So again, it doesn't matter. No gold stars. We just pick the variation that's working for us best. What you're looking for is to keep length in your spine, all right? That you're not like this, hunched up and rounded out in your spine, trying to get yourself down, all right? Keep the heart lifted, keep the length in the spine. And we'll just take one more breath here. And then you're going to take that right foot back in, take your right arm across your right leg, pick up your left knee, step it back to downward facing dog. Let's roll through a little vinyasa or take a child's pose just before we do the opposite side, and then we're done, folks. So child's pose, or you're going to roll from your downward dog to your plank. You're going to lower down any way you want, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. You're going to inhale, cobras or upward facing dog, and then you're going to exhale into your downward facing dog. If you're in child's pose, come back to down dog for me. We're going to pop all the way into the right foot and stretch the left leg up to the sky. So think about pushing the front of your right thigh towards the back and sinking the heel all the way down to the ground. You might not get there, but you're thinking of it. And then look where you want to go, and you're stepping your left foot up between the hands. Or you're dropping to your knees. You're taking your both hands to the right side of the mat and gently stepping forwards with that left leg. Whatever way you can, you get there, and then you bring your hands up onto your thigh. So same deal as the last time. Back toes tucked or untucked. You want your right hip to be behind your knee, and you want to drop on in to open up your hip flexor. The lower abdominals, draw them in and up. Put a cushion underneath your right knee if you need it. And we'll inhale, bring these arms up. Interlock the fingers, release the index, and then drop the shoulders nice and soft. Inhale. And exhale. So stay connected to your breath. Soften the face. On your next exhale, little side stretch over to the left, so over towards that bent knee. So we get a little deeper into that hip flexor. Softness in the face, breathe. And then inhale to rise back up. Hands are going to come down inside that left foot. We're taking the left foot out to the edge of the mat, and then we're turning to that 45-degree angle. We can take our yoga block in here for a little bit of support. We're going to lift the heart, lengthen the spine, and then drop into this left hip. So again, for some of you guys, block is going to feel great. For some of you guys, fingertips. For some of you guys, palms. For some of you guys, forearms. All right, so again, we just want to keep the spine nice and long. Try not to hunch here in your upper back in an attempt to get low. And we'll breathe. Just a couple of breaths down here. Inhaling. And exhaling. And inhaling. And exhaling. Once more, inhale. And exhale. Slowly rise. Bring that left foot back in. Bring your left hand across. Tuck your right toes. Pick up your right knee. Step it back to downward dog. Again, you have the option to just pop into your child's pose and breathe, or flow with me through a vinyasa. Inhale, roll to plank. Exhale, lower down. Your choice, whatever which way you like. Inhale, cobras or upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. One nice full deep breath here where we press into the palms, lift the sit bones high. As we exhale, we sink the weight down through the heels, drop the chin to the chest, and then go ahead and gently pop down onto your knees. We can scoot around onto your bum. And we're going to take just 2 minutes in Shavasana because I've put you over a little bit on time already. So, but you've got the option to spend much longer in your Shavasana. I'll just guide you through the first couple of minutes. So you want to get your socks and jumpers on, anything you need to support your back. So a chair or a cushion for underneath the knees, a bolster, anything at all. And then when you're ready, you can come to lie on your back. I have a little blanket here. I'm going to treat myself. My friend bought me this blanket and it's an exact match for my lovely peacock chair that's here in the corner. So I was thrilled with it when she came through the door. I was like, oh, it matches my chair. It's the little things in life that keep me happy. Okay, when you come to Shavasana, legs nice and wide, let the feet flop, arms away from the body, palms facing up. Unless there's a lower back issue, then the legs straight is not going to be your friend. You might want to pop them up onto a chair or a bed or a couch or whatever's nearby. Or you can simply, if you don't have anything nearby, I'd like to get rid of the blanket so you can see. You can bend your knees, bring your feet the width of the mat, let your knees plop in. Arms a little away from the body, palms facing upwards. Alrighty, let's take a lovely deep inhale. And sigh it out. If you feel the need for another 1 or 2 of those, work away. Deep inhale. And just let yourself surrender down on that exhale. Allow your breath to find its own rhythm. So we don't need to control the breath anymore, or the body, or the mind. We're just going to simply be and let the energy settle that we've moved throughout the body. And sometimes you'll notice the energy, it's like a tingling sensation. Mostly people feel it in their hands and their fingertips, but I now feel it everywhere. My arms, my forehead, the top of my head. So just softening the crown of your head, your forehead, your eyelids, your nose, cheekbones, hinges of the jaw, lips, softening your throat, back of your neck, and your shoulder blades, your upper back, mid back, lower back. Softening your right arm, your right hand, your fingers all the way to the fingertips. And softening your left arm, left hand all the way to the fingertips. Softening the right side of your chest and the left side of the chest. Softening the rib cage and the tummy. Surrender the weight of the pelvis. Softening your right thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, sole of the foot. And then softening the left leg, so your thigh, your knee, your lower leg, ankle, and sole of the foot. And you remember we started in this position and we checked in to kind of notice how we were feeling. So just do the same here. Check in again and notice how you're feeling after your practice. Physically, emotionally, mentally. I have yet to do a yoga session and feel worse after it. If you have time, I would advise you to just hang out a little longer in your Shavasana. Okay, give yourself another 5 minutes if you've got the time. If you need to wrap up your practice with me, then you're going to do it slowly, mindfully, by just taking small movements into your body. Things like your fingers, your toes, your ankles, your wrists. And then moving in a way that feels good. So for me right now, I need to hug my knees to my chest and give my lower back a little bit of love. You'd roll very gently onto your side. And then back up to your seated position. And any wee seated pose that works for your body. All right, to close down our practice, let's take the left hand onto the center of the chest, the right hand on top. We'll close the eyes. We'll lift up the chest, and we'll drop the shoulders and drop the chin slightly. Just taking a little moment here of gratitude. So gratitude to yourself for rolling out the mat. It's never an easy decision. It's always easier to just like splodge on the couch in front of the telly. But it's these little choices we make on a daily basis that have like an accumulative effect on our well-being. So just taking this moment to honor yourself, to honor your body that's carried you through this yoga practice, through your climb up Slieve Gullion, through your 26.1 mile marathon. Just taking this moment to connect, hands over heart space, acknowledging how wonderful you are, how wonderful your body is. Thank you so, so much for sharing your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you all again next Tuesday evening for our live sessions. Keep your suggestions coming in. I love to hear about your adventures, about your achievements. I think you're all amazing. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you next week. Namaste.